Welcome to FDA's Quality Breakdown. I'm your host, Devaughn Edwards. Welcome to the premiere episode of FDA's Quality Breakdown podcast. Now, if you're among the, I would guess, tens, potentially dozens of viewers, you may look back one day and reminisce where you were at this moment in regulatory history. So click like and share. We appreciate it, and it costs you nothing. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Devaughn Edwards. I'm the CEO of FDA Global Consulting. I'm also a former FDA investigator. I led inspections in more than 24 countries. My inspections led to many FDA actions, including warning letters. I'm also a former executive in the pharmaceutical industry. I've held quality and compliance executive roles with multiple companies, including Johnson & Johnson, during their consent decree. Each episode of Quality Breakdown, we hope to break down topics related to quality in the pharmaceutical industry, sometimes with a shot of humor. And boy, do we have a dandy to kick it off with. This is a case study on how not to conduct an FDA inspection. Absolutely stunning. Brands International. Brands International is apparently a Canadian company that has some products, and I'm guessing mostly cosmetic. They may have some products that venture into the drug category because of maybe some labeling claims. Again, this is just my guess, but I just can't imagine an actual pharmaceutical company being this weird. You'll see what I mean. Let's dive right into the warning letter, shall we? By the way, these warning letters, they're posted on the FDA website. They're public information, so I'm not revealing any private details. This is Brands International Warning Letter. Now, full transparency, I've modified the warning letter with highlights, bold print, red text, or underlined so that I can focus attention on certain details of it. So it looks like they received this warning letter in December of 2024, which means that the inspection had to have occurred somewhat significantly earlier. Now, looking at the warning letter, you'll see the issuing office is CDER. Now, that's the Center of Drug Evaluation and Research. That's basically the headquarters of the drug portion of the FDA. Starts off addressing the most responsible person at the site. One thing that I have to start off with, now, if you're a company outside of the United States, you're not going to get a random inspection by FDA. In other words, you have had to file an application in order to get FDA to come in and take a look at your operation so that you can sell your goods in the US channels. Now, this is significant because this company actually asked, in so many actions, they asked the FDA to come and do an inspection. So what you'll see here is absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense at all. So here we go. They found significant violations of GMPs or CGMPs, same thing. Now, it starts right off with them limiting or delaying the inspection. Now, they've asked the FDA to come. They filed an application, a new drug application or registration with the FDA. Now, one of the things I want you to know that if you have FDA show up and you're delaying or try to stop the inspection, guess what happens? FDA may consider all the drug products that comes from that plant adulterated. Do not start with this delay tactic that I've seen some companies do. Another thing that I have to point out here, now if you're a domestic company, you're pretty much familiar with the FDA just showing up unannounced. They just knock on the door and they start the inspection. If you're not in the United States, this is a Canadian site, FDA can't just show up on your doorsteps. They had to have worked with the FDA to receive the inspection. You know, that means working with the FDA to arrange hotel accommodations to pick the FDA investigators up at the hotel and bring them to the company. So they knew they were coming. So if you knew that the FDA was on its way and you're still delaying and trying to impede the inspection, why are you even on the radar? I don't get it. Here it says that we reviewed your July 2024 response. So obviously the inspection occurred before July of last year. During the inspection, our investigators observed delaying, denying, and limiting the inspection. Really? Now, on the second day of the inspection, the quality manager, now this is the part that shows that the wheels are already off the wagon. Quality manager entered the laboratory, exhibited hostility by shoving and shouting at our investigators for conducting the inspection without his presence. Additionally, laboratory staff refused to open a drug stability chamber based on his hostile behavior. Now, this is where I have to draw the line. Now, this is craziness. Now, you knew the FDA were coming, and you knew that they were going to do an inspection, and you got upset and assaulted the investigators, assaulted them by shoving and shouting. Shoving, that's an actual assault. I have concerns about the FDA in this instance. It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, well, now we know that this is ridiculous on the part of the quality manager. This person shouldn't even be in the pharmaceutical industry. But what was the FDA thinking? They're gonna allow someone to shove, push them? As soon as that happened, I would not stick around. Inspection's over. Guess what? You failed. And now would be on my way. Just makes absolutely no sense. The FDA is basically here being shoved and yelled at. And they're deciding, you know what, let's just keep going. This is I don't know how this is gonna work out. I mean, they had me in a pretty painful headlock, but hey, you know what? May have just gotten up on the wrong side of the bed. Let's keep going. We'll see how this works out. Here we got the laboratory staff refusing to open the drug stability chamber. Now they've been yelled at, they've been pushed, and they got a refusal to even look at what's in the stability chamber. This is going on way too long. The investigators requested drug product testing specs. And then the quality manager decides to interrupt and say, I'm the only one who can explain those answers. You don't talk to my supervisor. You talk only to me. You can't make this stuff up. This is absolutely insanity. And he interfered with the investigators about temperature monitoring. So not only did he stop them from looking in the stability chamber, now you can't even see what the temperature monitoring data looks like because this guy's refusing. Again, they asked the FDA to come. So here the FDA is asked for complaint records. And guess what? The FDA found some mold samples in their kissable oatmeal daily moisturizing body lotion. We're doing an inspection of a company in Canada. One of their brand products is kissable oatmeal daily moisturizing body lotion. I can see why the FDA didn't leave now. I mean, we may have a shortage of this kissable oatmeal daily moisturizing body lotion. Now, if that gets short on the market here, my God, what could happen? So let's go on. Let's continue the inspection. So then they decided to take a look at what was provided as far as the complaint records they had requested previously and found out they didn't even include the mold sample. While interviewing an employee regarding the mold in that incredible kissable oatmeal daily moisturizing body lotion, we see that the quality manager entered the room and started berating the employee. So you got this guy that pushes and shoves, yells at everybody, and now he's yelling at not just the FDA, but now he's also yelling at the employees. I mean, this entire inspection, the wheels are off the wagon. The guy's off the hinges. This is an absolute mess. I mean, at this point, the inspection's done. They've started the inspection. They've flown over to Canada. At this point, the inspection is pretty much over. But I guess if you've already invested in the airline tickets and you're there, I guess that's the rationale the FDA was using to continue. I want to get into that at some point because, honestly, we have very few FDA investigators. They're way overworked. There's a backlog of inspections they need to carry out. I believe that there needs to be a line in the sand. One, we need to make sure that our FDA investigators are safe. And this doesn't seem like it was safe. Two, we need to stop wasting time on these type of companies that have absolutely no investment in doing the right thing, participating in regulatory readiness. This is an absolute mess. So the investigators requested a list of batches in the U.S. The quality assurance supervisor said, "Nah, we don't have a system to track those." But then another employee, this is all chimed up and said, "Oh yeah, we know all of those batches." Oops. So delaying, denying, limiting, and refusing a drug inspection. This is a violation of the FDA Act. Your plan is, okay, what we'll do if the FDA shows up, they ask for some SOPs, they ask for some records. We don't have them. We're just going to delay the inspection, try to get them focused on something else. Guess what's going to happen? You can automatically be considered in violation of the FDA Act, and your products can be considered adulterated. No further inspection needed, which is why I do not understand the continuation of this inspection. CGMP violations. Let's look at some of the violations that Brands International racked up during this inspection. You failed to adequately investigate customer complaints. Now here's that kissable oatmeal daily moisturizing body lotion that may become a shortage in the commercial channels. We gotta get that stuff out here. So let's not stop the inspection for this, for shoving, or I don't know, assaulting the FDA. So they failed to adequately investigate the customer complaints. You didn't clearly identify the scope of the contamination, that nice, moldy, kissable oatmeal body lotion. And you failed to extend the investigation to other products. You said it was in the pumps. That's why you were having problems. There were some components of the packaging that created the mold situation. It only applies to our kissable oatmeal body lotion. You lack adequate evidence to support the contamination and limited to only 2 batches of the kissable oatmeal moisturizing body lotion. In your response, you state the procedure for investigation and root cause analysis will be developed. Now, I again want that bold printed. So you didn't have a root cause analysis, so you basically didn't have an investigation. You can't actually create a CAPA if you don't know what the root cause was. And what's the point of doing an investigation if you're not going to determine what the root cause is? So the FDA says your response is inadequate. You lack evidence that you have properly evaluated the root cause. You also failed to provide a comprehensive assessment of your complaint handling system. And what gets me here, in response to this letter, please provide, the reason I'm really ticked off here is because the FDA is saying, we're going to give you more opportunity to correct. We'll give you another opportunity. Just give us a response to this warning letter. Get a comprehensive independent assessment of your systems, your quality systems. No, just give us the independent assessment. Make sure it's comprehensive. Give us an action plan. Now, again, we're talking about a kissable oatmeal body lotion. Your firm failed to have for each batch of drug product appropriate laboratory determination of conformance to specs. Now, what exactly are you looking for the body lotion? It has to be kissable. Yes, I get it. You fail to adequately test drug products that you manufacture. Well, it may have mold in it. You don't want to do something that's going to point out the mold in your kissable body lotion. I understand them. I'm on their side on this one. This is insane. You can't make this up. So the FDA says that your response is inadequate. Release of drug products based on testing from analytical methods that have not been validated. They have no method validation. This is absolutely insane. I really hope that there's another product involved here other than the kissable body lotion, because this doesn't sound like it would even rise to the standards of being considered a drug product. We definitely do not want that in the commercial channels in the United States. But this is a trip that apparently more than one investigator was involved with outside of the country to inspect a facility that makes this drug product. This product, I use drug very loosely, but I have to assume that this was something that was categorized as a drug product because maybe there's some labeling statements that places it there. They asked for a list of chemical and micro specs, an action plan, summary of results, retained samples. This is a lot of work that you're placing on the FDA to give them another opportunity. And here, your firm failed to adequately test incoming components. So we have an API. If it has an API, then it's obviously a drug product. Your firm released APIs based on your supplier's C of A's without establishing the reliability of your supplier's test analysis. You also lack sufficient detail describing how you qualify your suppliers. So guess what, people? If you have a pharmaceutical company, you need to have a vendor qualification program in place. The letter goes on, basically asking for more and more commitment to provide certain test results, asking for a risk assessment. If you don't know what a risk assessment is, I suggest you have some work to do. But there's a laundry list that the FDA is asking for. Now, one thing that you'll always see with every warning letter, GMP consultant recommended. I didn't put this into the warning letter. This is going to be in every warning letter you see. Now, why is that? So the FDA recognizes, okay, if you have a problem with your quality, maybe you need some outside help. Quality catches hell. When you have a consultant, they're not there for the day-to-day politics, and they're just there to help you get in shape. So I would suggest that if you're finding problems and you know that the FDA is going to come and find those problems also, maybe time to invest in a GMP consultant. So let's wrap this up. Now, this is a company that I feel just does not need to be on the radar for FDA. They're not ready. Typically, I would like to give a breakdown of the quality, where they went wrong, what they should do to get back on track. In this case, I don't even think they've even built the quality system. I mean, they have a bunch of people doing stuff, and they're not doing it right, obviously. I don't even want to waste time breaking down the quality breakdown is already broken. Now, what I would suggest is look at what Brands International has done as far as regulatory readiness, quality system optimization, and do the exact opposite. Never, at no point, berate and accost the FDA. It's not going to work out in your favor. FDA, message to you: do not put yourself in jeopardy. When someone accosts you, assaults you, shoves you, wrap it up. We need our FDA investigators, and we need them safe. They are the ones making sure that our commercial markets have quality products. Putting your own safety in jeopardy does not make sense. Okay, so that's it for the first episode of Quality Breakdown. Brands International was a case study of what not to do. They had no idea of how to interact with FDA, and it was an absolute mess. So they got a warning letter. Let's see how this saga continues. If they get another inspection, I will definitely do another podcast and give you an update on that. Thank you guys for FDA's Quality Breakdown. This is Devaughn Edwards. We'll see you next time. I always recommend having a professional consultant help navigate you through the regulatory channels. There are many qualified consultants, and I always place former FDA field investigators at the top of that list. But if you cannot get a former FDA investigator, FDA has created audit tools that are like nothing else out there. These tools are in the form of ebooks, but they were created with the input of former FDA investigators. Each ebook not only tells your auditor what to review, tells them how to go about performing that review and common problems that the FDA finds. Nowhere will you find this type of assistance. These audit tools are specific to clinical audits, oral solid dose, and APIs, the ultimate audit tools. All are available on Amazon. The ultimate clinical audit tool, the ultimate solid dose audit tool, and the ultimate API audit tool. If you would like regulatory consultation, this includes GMP training, 483 remediation, mock FDA inspections, certification training, and much more. Contact fda.org. If you would like to contribute to the development of this podcast, donations are accepted through Cash App at $Enterprise Endeavor.